Hello and welcome to Blockchain Gaming World with me, John Jordan. So we're back for another month, another one of our regular looks at the most popular blockchain games. Data taken from DappRadar, so it's the raw data from DappRadar. We'll maybe talk a little bit about that as we go. So as ever, we've got three graphs. So the most popular blockchain games is where we'll start. These are the games that have been most popular, and some of which are still the most popular. So we're looking back on the horizontal axis from January 2023 through to we're just into start of March 2024 now. Vertical scale, we have daily active unique wallets, so up to 300. So Pixels is almost up to 300,000 daily active unique wallets. So these are wallets, these are not necessarily individuals. Individuals may have more than one wallet. That's clearly the case for some products more than others. So look at the broad sort of trends here. So as discussed sort of in every episode so far, the start of 2023 we have Alien Worlds in red and Splinterlands in green as the most popular blockchain games with about 200,000 daily active unique wallets. We've seen them decline pretty steadily throughout the last year and 14 months. Some of that is because they have they've been stemming down on bots, actually. So they've been stemming down on bots and also making sure they don't give rewards out to bots. So in a sense, that's they're driving down the number of bots and trying to give rewards out to actual players. Combined with that, these are games that have been out for a while. They are not the deepest experiences, or that's not the right word actually. They are sort of quite deep experiences, but they are obviously been around for a while and they've not really changed very much. Although Alien Worlds is sort of adding in more sort of DAO type things and narrative and sort of companion games on top. But I would say none of those have really caught fire. So it's down. Alien Worlds is down to what we're looking at, sort of 60,000, 70,000 daily active unique wallets. Splinterlands is down even further, now under 50,000, so about 30,000 daily active unique wallets. Splinterlands is sort of regrouping and launching some other stuff. So we'll see if that sort of pans out. It's obviously working on its land NFT stuff. It's got a new TD game, tower defense game coming in called Soulkeep using the NFTs. But just the cycle of games is people churn out, and it's sort of hard to rebuild audiences. So that's what's happening. This is what happens with all games, even blockchain games. Although you might argue people having assets in the game sort of means it happens less quickly. But we'll see. So I'm not saying Alien Worlds and Splinterlands are sort of not going to go up again, but clearly we're in a bull market now and they're still sort of at best stabilising. In yellow here we have Nine Chronicles. I should point out, I'll put the blockchains in sort of brackets after the games. So Nine Chronicles runs on its own special blockchains. Actually two games here, so Nine Chronicles, the original game, and Nine Chronicles M, which is the new version of the game which runs on its own blockchain, sort of connected really to the first one. And DappRadar has actually updated its data for Nine Chronicles. So they've basically had a look back at the data I originally had and the new data, and the new data is now higher, particularly after October when the Nine Chronicles M game also launched. So they're running at about 50,000 daily active unique wallets now, so just a bit higher than Splinterlands, but not as high as Alien Worlds. So we'll see how that plays out. And then there's Pixels. So Pixels is obviously the big success since it launched on the Ronin blockchain. So it had been available before that on the Polygon blockchain, but I'm not modelling that. I'm not taking the data for that. So we just see the launch in sort of November 2023. Big jump continues as the sort of the into 2024 as they do their play to airdrop campaign. Then they've launched the Pixel token, which has replaced the old Berry token, and we see another sort of very, very strong growth here. So once you have a token that's live, everyone gets excited, and you can start to give it away. They also had things like they launched their pets NFT recently, so 3,000 pets. So I can't remember what the price now is, a few $100, I think. So there's just a lot going on with Pixels. They're actually doing a lot of sort of design work. So it's just very active, and we can see now they're here on this data. They're sort of about 250,000 daily active unique wallets. Bit of volatility. Interestingly, Pixels themselves are saying they're over 300,000. So this is a little bit where you have to be careful with the or sort of aware of DappRadar's data, which is not always sort of the perfect data. In particular, I think with Pixels, you can now create Ronin wallets that are what they call abstracted wallets. So they're not wallets where you get the seed phrase. They're sort of wallets where you have different recovery mechanics. And DepRadar generally doesn't always track those games. So the thinking is with Nine Chronicles, one of the reasons that their data's gone up is because DepRadar is now tracking their wallets properly. But with Pixels, I think this is my guess. No one's told me this, but this is my guess: is that some of the number of players that Pixels themselves are seeing is people using the Ronin wallet in the abstract sort of version of it, rather than just using sort of like a bare bones sort of MetaMask type approach. So always be a little bit aware of that. It doesn't really matter in the sense that Pixels is by far and away the biggest blockchain game, so we might be arguing whether it's under or over 300,000. That's there's always some ambiguity, I suppose, around the data, and there's always ambiguity around how many bots there are. So so not something to get too worried about, but that's where we are with the most popular blockchain games. So now we have the next graph, which is I call the less popular blockchain games, because I'm hilariously funny. These are just like the smaller ones. So obviously here on the vertical scale, we've gone down from 300,000 on this one, so we're down to 30,000. So that's obviously tenfold down. Much smaller. So these are much smaller games. So Upland in blue's always been there. It's just very steady, up and down, sort of 25,000. Just been there for years, really. I mean, again, that's a game that's been out for a long time. Mobile sort of browser-based game, sort of building out to a sort of metaverse type thing, but just hasn't grown. It's just sort of retained its audience. We do have a sort of a growth game here. So Aperon on the Ronin blockchain. This what I'm tracking here. So it is a game. It's a PC game, which is there's a demo available by the Epic Game Store. But this is that game is not connected to the blockchain as far as I know at the moment. So we are not tracking gaming activity here. We are effectively tracking sort of like a token airdrop. It's not a token airdrop, but it will have a token. It's sort of people doing tasks around the game rather than playing the game, if you see what I mean. Sort of launch type stuff. So this is up to over 20,000 now. But the game isn't live yet in terms of being on the blockchain, so we have to be a little bit careful. This is more sort of showing like a marketing campaign and wallets sort of connecting to smart contracts to get rewards rather than playing the game. Interesting to see Axie Infinity really has it's had some big spikes, getting up to 30,000. This is, I think, dependent on their season rewards, so they have lots of seasonal rewards now. Having like 10,000, 20,000, 15,000 probably people, wallets we would say, are playing it regularly, and then when this sort of reward claim comes in, or comes to the end of the season, people are sort of playing more. So we're getting these bigger spikes, sort of double the audience. But even here, we're sort of now occasionally, reaching over sort of 20,000 here, over 25,000 up here. So it's not a big deal. Nothing like the million players that you had sort of back in the day. And I don't think we're going to get there again, but just to point out that Axie Infinity is sort of slowly growing. And then final one is Gas Hero, which is on Polygon. Now this is a really odd game that you had to... It was odd in the sense you have to buy NFTs to play this game. So this was really a game for the people who had already sort of got the NFTs and were sort of part of the Steppen ecosystem. So it's the developer is Find Satoshi Labs, who also did Steppen. And basically, this is it's almost like this is a game for their audience. So it sort of spiked at about sort of 6,000-7,000 of people who have basically had those NFTs for cheap, or people paid. Like I bought an NFT for $100 just to see what it was like, and it wasn't. You had to spend more money to buy more NFTs. So sort of interesting game from that point of view. But if you have to spend hundreds of dollars to get into it, there was basically people were playing it to get rewarded in tokens. So it was a very sort of old school, sort of almost like an Axie Infinity type game where you have to spend a lot of money to get to even play the game, and then you might get some tokens. Some people, the early people, did really well. Everyone else not so good, and now it's down to sort of 2,500. So I still think can they make it free to play and just have everyone playing it without these NFTs? I don't know. Doesn't seem to be the case. But again, it sort of shows you still. Even in this very small graph of up to 30,000 wallets, still people sort of making these rather odd games that are just not going to scale. Maybe that was their idea. And then a final graph we look at here, which I call the degen sort of games. And there's a lot going on now. Obviously, the market's very starting to get pretty bullish. There's loads of meme coin prices zooming up. Obviously, Bitcoin is up, maybe going to hit an all-time high soon. People think before the halving, maybe not, but who knows? Not investment advice. But anyway, lots of activity generally around crypto at the moment, and people thinking these are the good times. And we see this sort of reflected in some of these apps. So some of these I really know nothing about. Some of them I know a little bit about. Matrix Fire here is basically they're just doing a token sort of pre-launch. So everyone's just slamming their wallets in. So 400,000 wallets, people just trying to get token rewards. We know that's a sort of airdrops sort of thing works, and we're just seeing obviously that a lot of these will be spammy wallets, I imagine, or bot wallets. But you can drive a lot of activity to your project if you are giving away free money, basically. Other stuff. So Moto Dex has been very popular for a while, but we can see it sort of has these odd sort of behavioural sort of curves in its chart, where it suddenly under 100,000, suddenly goes up to 250,000, stays there, suddenly comes back down again. That typically means you've got a lot of bot activity, and this drop off is either the developer is stamping down on bots or the reward structure changes, and people stop bashing their wallets into Moto Dex and go to Matrix Fire. I'm not saying that's exactly what happened here, but you just get a lot of very frothy activity going into these games. Starry Knife again, it's sort of, it's not going down. So it's up to 200,000. So we'll see if these things. I think it's always interesting to get these big sort of audiences in, but is the game going to be solid enough to build over the next sort of 6 to 12 months? That's really what we need to see with some of these projects. Sweatcoin is a serious project. It is a move to earn game, not really a game. It's a move to earn experience. So you install it to your phone. You have to do 5,000 steps a day. You can claim some tokens. It's not really. There is sort of mini games and stuff in there, but it's not really a pure game. It's more a sort of exercise utility where they're giving away tokens. So again, interestingly, that's not exploded. You have to work really hard to get any money out. So maybe that's why you can't really spam the system. You can't just do 1 million steps a day and earn more. It's sort of capped on a daily basis. So if you're walking around and you have this, you can sort of earn a few pence a day. Not really clear what you can do with that. But it's doing 100,000 and sort of similar other things, other projects sort of bouncing around the 100,000 mark. So I just put these in not because I think these are good games or bad games, but just to sort of always good to have an idea about the sort of virality of what's going on in crypto at the moment. We're going to see a lot more of this. Maybe we'll see some games hit 1 million wallets a day just because they're giving away stuff. So it's good to keep an eye on that. Will most of these games sort of, or will most of these experiences become proper games? No, probably not. They're just sort of what's the word? Flotsam in the water. I don't know, leaves in the wind, sort of passing through. But I always like to keep an eye on them to see what's going on. But just go back to here. So Pixels is a proper game, proper audience, doing things the right way. So this is showing also the virality of crypto at the moment, but wrapped around a game that's been around for a couple of years, and has been gone live on a new blockchain, Ronin, which is popular. People are playing this game who haven't played it before, and will sustain. Well, we'll see how far it can go, I suppose. So if it's started to sustain about 500,000, I think that would be sort of significant. I mean, the only game that's gone sort of higher than that is Axie, and it didn't do that for very many days. So interesting to see if Pixels can sustain over the coming 6 months. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. I'll come back next month. See you then.